Let's get you updated on what our grain trade is doing in the corn market this morning. You know, we had a higher trade overnight, and then this morning on the open, it kind of stumbled across the starting line. Let's see what corn is doing on that March contract. Well, it's fractionally higher. We're up 0.75 cents at 3.73, and July's up 1.50 now. Now December is just one tick higher. Let's move on to the soybean market. In soybeans today, we have the March contract 2 1/4 higher. We're at 8.76 per bushel, basically about 2 to 2 1/4 higher all across the board on all the contract months in the soybeans. If we look at our wheat, well, in Chicago, we have the March contract 3 3/4 lower at 5.32.5. In Kansas City, wheat today on the early going, we have the March contract also under pressure, down 2.5 at 4.49 3/4 right now on that Minneapolis market. It is mixed, and we have the nearby March back to unchanged at 5.14 even. Well, I want to go to the phone and check in with our regular contributor this day each week. We like to talk with Ben Hushon of the Mill in Whitehall, Maryland, and get his perspective on what's going on in the agricultural realm in the mid-Atlantic states. He joins us right now. Ben, thanks for joining us here. I know we were talking about the weather outlook for your area right now, and it looks like you probably are dealing with pretty gray, inclement weather here this week. I don't imagine guys are doing too much out in the field.
Good morning, Marlin. As an alumni member, I have to start with a happy National FFA week, but you are, as always, spot on. It was an interesting run. I guess it was last Thursday. Farmers realized the ground was fit, and as we talked last Tuesday, the state of Maryland turned them loose on top-dressing small grain. So about Thursday, Friday, folks realized something we never experienced in my time. There was no frost in the ground, and that ground dried out quicker than what we're used to seeing in February. And there was a whole lot of fertilizer went out last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, probably the busiest week, even though it was short, we've ever had in February. Things were rolling, and the ground was perfect, as growers were telling us.
I know they have special regulations when it comes to fertilization around that Chesapeake area there, and you said they had made some special allowances this year. You might elaborate on that for a moment.
They did. In Maryland, you're not allowed to put any nitrogen or phosphorus out. Typically November 1st till March 1st. There's a little bit of deviation with manures in some cases, but in general, it's a November 1 through March 1. But they're constantly tracking, and they do a pretty nice job of applying agronomic information to that decision. So what they did February 15th, they got their panel together and decided to release the farmers early. So we got word, I think it was February 13th or 12th, that they were allowed on small grain only to go ahead and get going. And the plants were telling us it was time. It wasn't hard to walk out in the field and see that small grain was definitely greening up, and our footprint pretty heavy use of split applied nitrogen. So folks got rolling and had a lot of success getting a lot of acres done last week.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. Of course, if there's no frost in the ground, those plants are going to be coming to life. So anyway, thank you for the update on that, and hope you can endure a little rainy weather. It looks like another storm coming later this week. Ben, thank you so much. We'll talk with you next week, too. Ben Hushon, he is with the Mill in Whitehall, Maryland. We will come back in just a moment, and I'll get you updated on our cattle and hog trade right after this. Get you updated on our sheep market activity last week, shall we? On the National Weekly Sheep Slaughter Review, we had the market showing about 4,100 head sold last week. That compares to 5,200 the week before. A year ago, we had 5,100. So it definitely saw some slack in the overall sales activity. And price-wise, the market was said to be $1 lower. The weight range ran 129 to 155, and we had a price range in there of 145 to about 170. The weighted average price worked out to be about 160 41 last week. Let's look at our futures, and on the live cattle board right now, we have kind of turned mixed here. We have the February down 42. April is your main month. That's down 25 at 115. All the deferreds slightly higher. On the feeder cattle market right now, you have the nearby March 72 higher at 136.75. April had been limit down on the close yesterday. Well, now we're up 47 cents. We're at 138.07. May is up 65. And on the lean hog trade, currently you have the lean hog showing April 70 higher today at 65.33. The May contract 47 higher at 72.35. Well, let's check out our feedlot cattle activity from last week with information provided by Ed Serwin of CZ Cattle Market Analytics. And we thank him for that. He's based in Amarillo, Texas. Well, the feedlot cattle trades for the week ending February 22nd were about $1 higher. Cash sales volume was also higher than the previous week. Nationally reported forward contracted cattle harvest was said to be 40,000 head. Packers have 193,000 head for March, along with 233,000 head for April. The national cash sales last week included 9,827 head of 15 to 30-day delivery, along with 23,000 from the previous week. The weekly weighted average cash steer price for the week ending the 22nd for the 5-area region was $119.71 per hundredweight. That was 81 cents higher. And last year, the same week, it was $126.36, and that was $1 higher than the week last year. The weighted average cash dress steer price was said to be $190.07, and that was 20 cents lower. The 5-area weighted average formula price was $192.73. That was $2.15 lower. As far as the carcass weights go, the national steer carcass weight for the week ending February 8th was 903 pounds. That was up from the 897 the week before. Last year it was 885. The Choice Select spread was $3.39. It widened out a little bit from the previous week when it was $2.38. A year ago it was $7.04. So that's how things shook out on the feedlot activity last week with info from Ed Serwin. So, Janet, that's how we're looking during this first hour of trade.
All right. Sounds like you're able to at least take a breath this morning versus yesterday.
A little bit, yeah, so far.
Thank you very much, Marlin.